Welcome back to the Manor Entropians. Julian McBain here. And we got some big news today. We have some big news from the Entropia universe, and I wanted to make up for the fact that I forgot to make a video for Wednesday with this video. But I happened to catch this on the Entropia universe Facebook page, and it came from one of the devs. It came from Dark Moon Enigma, who of course is the community manager for the Monria team. And so I wanted to share it with you. I think that this has actually ended up being kind of an act of providence that I forgot to make a video for today, because now I get to do this video instead. Monria and Toulan just announced that they're merging, or more accurately, it looks like the Monria team is acquiring Toulan and becoming a full planet partner. I don't know what that exactly is going to look like when it comes to the way that, the internals of Mind Arc work, of course. But they're getting more creative freedom. They're going to have, the leash, not the leash, but the restrictions that they've had for being a moon as opposed to a planet appear to be starting to come off. And they're going to be able to use a lot more license when they take their creative moves, which I think is going to do nothing but benefit both Monria and Toulan. The Monria team has been amazing when it comes to developing a community, generating content. They've been very active. Their developers are in there creating content live when, they lead the parade every year at St. Patrick's Day. So, and yeah, I'm gushing a bit because I love Monria, but at the same time, it's not undeserved praise. Okay? They really do put the extra effort in. In fact, I have seldom found a team that is more engaged than the Monria team. And so, with this announcement, I am extremely excited to see where the Monria team goes, the Monria Toulan team goes, and see where they go, what happens next on Toulan. It basically means I'm going to have to go and visit Toulan again. And it's been a while since I only went to Toulan once, and I was only there for 2 weeks. Because it was dead. Toulan fell under the category of a whole bunch of unrealized potential. I was actually really disappointed, and it's not because the possibilities weren't there. Toulan has all kinds of possibilities. I think the biggest problem was it was originally developed to be the first step toward VR for Entropia Universe, and so the whole place was developed for VR. And they did a great job with it. The visuals on Toulan are second to none. Okay, sorry Arcadia. Toulan beat you for visuals. Same with Next Island. But it's because they designed it for VR. Content-wise, though, it was extremely thin. And, you follow the storyline, you get to this village, and everything kind of stops. And I'm sure if you can find your way to the other villages, you can do so, but without use of vehicles, which I think has been changed now. I think you can use vehicles on Toulan now. The novel radiation's gone away. But without the use of vehicles, it made it exceptionally difficult to get to other places, because of the way that the mob difficulty was laid out. Now that they have done this, I think that the Monria team will take all of the good ideas that Toulan represents and re-implement them, along with the members of the Toulan team that I don't know if any of the Toulan team are remaining. I hope they do. I really do. I hope that they can take on as many of the Toulan team as they can, because I think that the Toulan team, I don't think they had bad ideas. In fact, I think they had a lot of good ideas, but none of them were executed. And I'm not saying they weren't executed properly. I don't think they were completed and executed. And I don't know maybe they ran out of budget. They might have run out of time. They might have run out of a lot of things. But I think it was just that they had a thing, they tried to do the thing, and they never got an opportunity to execute them. And I think that this new partnership with Monria, this new, not partnership, but merger with Monria, they're currently partnered and they're moving into a merger, and I mean, there's a whole bunch of paperwork that goes in with that, you know what I mean? Welcome to the corporate world. But Along with that, I think once that's all said and done, I think if we can take the minds that came up with Toulan and combine them with the skills in execution and efficiency of the Monria team, and you put those two things together, it can only be beneficial. It will only be beneficial to both groups. So now my plan is, so there's been a lot of things I want to do. Obviously you can't be on more than one planet at a time. Calypso definitely has the supply line for the big events like the Mayhems and Migration and stuff like that. Halloween Mayhem I don't like to not do, but I'm not expecting Halloween Mayhem until at the end of October, because that's when it usually is. So my intent at this time is I am going to pack up once Migration's over. I'm going to go to Cyrene like I originally planned. And then after that, I don't know. I was going to do Next Island, and I might still do Next Island. But there's a lot of stuff coming down the pike for Toulan, and I really want to be there when it happens. So we'll see what the plan is. I'm going to see if I can't find more information, either on the Discord for Monria or the forums for both Monria and Toulan. And we'll figure it out. We'll see what's going on. And maybe they don't have anything different. You know, maybe they're just in the planning stage. And that's cool, if they are. It means that they're still making an effort. But yeah, we're going to go through the process and figure it out and see what happens. So I'm real excited. I think this is going to be fantastic for both groups. I do. I think Toulan has a lot of potential. I really think that we are going to see a lot of good stuff come out of this merger. And they've already announced apartments. They've already announced shopping stalls. They've announced that they're going to have it sounds like they're going to institute a quest line that will allow you to do that. I don't know if there's going to be a limit. I don't know what the plan is. But that's going to be the plan. Actually, you know what? While I'm here, let me see if I can't pull up the announcement from Team Monria. Pop open the... So, I'm going to read it while we're hunting. Hopefully, DME doesn't get mad at me. Toulan and Monria, a new beginning. It is with great pleasure that we can announce a new and exciting partnership between Monria and Planet Toulan. We are delighted with our new beginning, and henceforth Virtualsense will be responsible for all development operations and marketing and community management of both Planet Toulan and Monria. The background, we've been friends for quite some time now, having lengthy discussions about Entropia and gaming, immersion technologies, and how to improve the environments for our respective communities. Over these long talks, we have grown our friendship into an alliance, and have come to a mutual respect for each other's strengths and where they lie. It was during these chats that our focus turned toward exploring ways we could work together for the benefit of both Monria and Toulan. Since inception, Virtualsense had been created as a business within Entropia universe, with the goal to add value to the virtual world, create communities, engaging content, storylines, and gameplay, and now the stream is becoming a reality. Throughout this journey, Mindark has been very supportive and positive about ideas that can add value to the Entropia universe. Since our experience of managing and marketing Monria in partnership with Mindark has been so positive, It has only fueled our desire to make a greater contribution to the Entropia ecosystem. And let me say on a personal note, they have. If that was their goal, they absolutely nailed it. Toulan's team has put great effort and beauty of the into the beauty of the planet, and has been extremely impressed by what the Virtualsense team has been able to achieve with Monria. Also true. The visuals of Planet Toulan, I've said it before, are second to none in this game. And honestly, they'd be hard to beat in any CryEngine forum, and I dare say they could compete against Unreal Engine games in a lot of ways. I mean, okay, so it's not Horizon Zero Dawn level, but considering the tools they had to work with, they nailed it. With more development autonomy, we have every confidence that the right team is in place to build a bright future for both Toulan and Monria. What this means for Toulan. All future development will be undertaken by Virtualsense. Virtualsense will be responsible for all marketing promotion of Planet Toulan. The Virtualsense team will manage the Planet Toulan community, including all future events, which means it sounds like Toulan's going to get a lot more active. Monria is already active. Toulan's going to get a lot more active. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. What this means for Monria. Monria will continue to be developed, marketed, and managed as it is today. We have a greater capacity to develop and will bring even more content to Monria, which means that whatever restrictions that MindArc had on the Monria team in comparison to Planet Partners appear to have been removed, or at least that's the sense I'm getting. So, and this is where the analysis is coming from, and maybe I should have started the video off by reading this, but as I was going through it, I realized that in order to be 100% accurate, I wanted to actually read the article. Future plans. We have already started to work on future content, but we need to be very careful on how we go forward with our development. We don't want to make promises that we cannot keep, which is good, because this is always a thing that people rail against developers on. They make promises and never gets delivered. I don't know of very many developers who haven't run into this trap, so I'm glad to see that they're taking some care. It is evident on Monria that Virtualsense takes things at a steady yet achievable pace. We now have more control over this space than we have ever had before, but we will continue to proceed with purpose while prioritizing the content we feel will have the most benefit to our communities. We would like to share the areas we are focusing on and our vision for the future possibilities of this new age. And this is the stuff that really excites me. When I read this earlier, I was at work, I was on like a 5-minute break, and I almost cheered, which would have probably disrupted everyone in my office. Shops and apartments on Toulan will be released and attainable through in-game activities. So it doesn't sound like they're just dropping them on the auction house. That is cool. I don't know where those are located. I might do a scouting run to Toulan. That might be a video here right after. It might even be before we go to Cyrene. I might make a run at Toulan just so we can explore now that they've removed the Nawa radiation. Monria will be expanded and new content added over time. This sounds like they got some financing. We will focus on introducing more uses for Planet Toulan resources desperately needed. The biggest problem that Planet Partners have are all of the new resources they introduce have very little use, or it takes too long to gather the things that require them, that would use those resources to make it worthwhile to crafters. So if you are a crafter or if you're a miner, for God's sake, go to Toulan and start farming. We want to continue working with the community to support the growth of both locations through community initiatives, something that Virtualsense is really good at. Cross-location events missions are something that we would like to make possible at some point, which I think would be cool. The run-through space issue, I think, is something they're going to have to grapple with. Making sure that anything that needs to be transported from planet to planet is not lootable, I think will be critical to making that a success. We intend to connect the lore between Monria and Toulan through storyline and missions while maintaining their own identities. We will apply what we've learned from Monria to Toulan and grow the community through new player acquisition, something Entropia universe as a whole can only benefit from. We will continue to... Now, that being said, players in Entropia universe need to focus on going to other planets from time to time and get the hell off Calypso. Calypso's awesome, don't get me wrong. But if you take the entire population of Entropia universe, 80% of it probably, no, because Arcadia's got a good point. Call it 70% of it, or even if 50%'s on Calypso. There's 6 major locations. For lack of a better, I'm understanding Monria is not a planet. For the sake of this argument, or of this conversation, I'm going to call it such just because instead of going to 5 planets and moon, there are 6 planets. There are 6 planets in Entropia universe. If half the population is located on one of them, it means there are 5 underutilized locations. Now, some of them are smaller and don't need as big a population. Monria is pretty well populated for its size. Its density is good. Could it use a bigger population? Yes. But its population per square kilometer relative to Calypso is probably a lot closer than, say, the population of Cyrene or the population of Next Island before all the ancient Greece stuff popped up, which, from what I understand, is bringing a lot of people to Next Island. We will continue to support the Monria space travel program managed by Annie Thundergirl, in which to extend the benefit to future Toulan-borns and Toulan estate owners at the appropriate time. That's good. I'm glad to see that. I think that it would be interesting if they came up with a couple of unique benefits. So, a unique benefit Monrian-borns get, a unique benefit those born on Toulan get. My hope is that they might come up with a different name, because Monrian-born really speaks to the culture of Monria, and it flows really well. I don't know if Toulan-born really fits the feel of Toulan, but there definitely should be a title for Toulan natives. I also think that there should be some method for those of us who had no clue what the hell we were doing to be able to one time only change our citizenship. But that's just me. Because looking back, I had a lot of good things came from me starting on Calypso. But given my druthers, if I could go back and start over, I either would have started on Monria or on Cyrene. Which does not mean I would have spent any less total time on Calypso. But if I had known that you had to, because I thought that you could get in and then you got to pick your planet. And I'd done my research and I had selected Cyrene at the time because I didn't know much about Monria. It was kind of quiet. This was several years ago. But I didn't get the choice. I just wound up on Calypso because I didn't know you had to download it from that Planet Partner's website. Something I'm hoping MindArc will actually take the time to either explain or implement a system where when you log in for the first time, you select what planet you're dropped on. I do think it would be rather cool if all current avatars, because of all of the changes that have come up, could do a one-time, call it citizenship change, where you can choose what planet you're actually from because of the changes that have been made to the system that make it so that you can have a better sense of how to be, from that planet. For each version update, we will be, and this means Planet Partner version update. For each version update, we will be concentrating on resolving existing and new bugs in as timely a manner as possible. So, those of us who go in here and like to run around and see where all the bugs are on new places, run around and go hog wild. Just be respectful when you make the reports. Most of us are. Because there's going to be a lot of new stuff coming down. Anytime you code something new, there's going to be bugs. Be aware of it. Be cool with it. Take pictures where you can. And be understanding while they get them fixed. We will focus on player content to serve gameplay with a purpose and utilize the platform systems to that end. I really think this is going to increase the not the usability. It's going to increase the amount of content and fun that we can have in Entropia Universe, and I think it's going to really increase the population in Entropia Universe, depending on how they go with it. I'm excited. Frankly speaking, I would love to be on their marketing team because I think there's a lot of potential here, and it would just be fun to know what's going on before it happens and to create those. Because that's what I do now. I'm a marketer. I'm a salesperson, but I do a lot of like social media marketing. And no, this is not me trying to pitch myself to Virtualsense. It's just coming from that direction and looking at this, it's like, oh man, their marketing team is gonna have a blast. And these, I mean, their marketing team is probably 2 people, maybe 3. You got your community manager and your social media marketer, and probably more of a traditional marketer or someone who liaises with the devs. They are gonna have a blast marketing this as it develops. I really think they will. Transition. Virtualsense is currently going through a transition and handover period so that we're fully operational, but we wanted to share this with information with the community as early as possible. The team at MindArc is fully supporting us to make this transition as smooth as possible. I think that's fantastic. The fact that MindArc has really stepped up and, you know, they're lending their full support to the endeavor, and that Virtualsense wanted to get this on the table as quickly as possible so that players weren't scratching their heads over, you know, because things are going to happen, guys. They're going to be vexing. Some of them are going to make us just like bang our heads against the desk because something silly happened. It's fixed in an hour. These things happen, right? But the fact that they're like, we're doing this, and there's going to be a transition period, and we're working on it. So if the forum breaks all of a sudden, don't be surprised. We're working on it. That's cool. Some of the current efforts that are underway: construction of a new Virtualsense website for the purpose of marketing both Monria and Toulan. Good. Preparation of a migration of the Toulan and Monria forums into a single forum shared by both communities. This one I think is good. However, it depends on the execution. I think it would be cool even if they merge the two, which is what they're doing. I would hope that they have different thread topics for each individual planet on top of combined like general topic areas. I think that would be beneficial because that would help the planets to retain their own character, but it also makes it harder to manage. So I understand why they're doing it, and I think that overall it will be a beneficial thing. Development of concepts roadmaps for both Monria and Toulan. That's pretty standard. Wonder if they're using a Trello board. Research of Planet Toulan, including lore, missions, content, reported bugs. This is critical to make it so there's no jarring change between Toulan old and Toulan new. They need to read through all of the content that currently exists, whether it's been implemented or not, figure out the history, how can they integrate it into Monrian history if they can do it at all, which I don't think it'll be that difficult because the Cthulhu mythos is pretty ubiquitous, you know? Lovecraft had something going there. So I think that that's critical, and it's going to really help the Monria team to develop Toulan in a positive direction. A renewed focus on the utility and purpose of Loot on Toulan, and a review of all community initiatives and events. Final words. We would like to thank the loyal and positive supporters from both communities. Although we have a lot of work to do, we are really excited about the potential for the years ahead and look forward to the continued growth of both Toulan and Monria. There we go. The primary goal of Virtualsense has always been to make a positive contribution to the Entropia universe and bring more players to our community. We will continue to work hard toward this goal into the future. On a final note, we have always worked very closely with the team at MindArc, and none of this would have been possible without their guidance. Over the years, we have built relationships with some really good people who share the same goals and passions as we do. Thank you for all you have done to support us. Here's to a new beginning. And to Muhammad. And Muhammad, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. I can never get the inflection correct, so please forgive me for that. So, this is awesome. This is amazing. I am absolutely excited to see what happens. This year, I spent the entire first quarter on Monria, and did so with absolutely no shame or concern. I loved every second of it. I came back to Calypso to do some normal, leveling, get some Codex stuff out of the way. Codex is going to start migrating soon. you're gonna see me on Monria and Toulan a lot more. Cyrene will always be on my list, and Migration will always be on my list. But you're gonna see me off of Calypso a lot more than you are gonna see me on Calypso as time goes on, I think, because March, April, May, June. So I spent 5 months on Calypso this time around. This time last year, it was closer to 7. And I will I'll have to come back for supplies because that's pretty standard. But the other thing I will probably have to come back for is any mayhems that I decide to participate in. Now, I don't know. I haven't decided whether or not mayhems are going to continue to be something I do on the regular. I like mayhems. I have a lot of fun with mayhems, but they are becoming more and more costly from a PED perspective because of my level. I'm kind of falling into the same trap that Lore Spade did, where you basically outlevel your wallet. And Mayhem is the one place where you can't really do that and still be competitive. Like, here, if I want to, if I'm having a slow month, I can equip Buchan's Spare Rifle and I can go on Monria and hunt Shogs, or I can hunt drones here, or I can hunt something on the Pleeks on Cyrene, or the Dusters, and it doesn't cost me anything because I'm breaking even easily. But when you get into the higher level mayhems, or even here, I'm really dependent on globals to keep my PED card high. Like, really dependent on globals. Now, I really lucked out last night. If you watch my live stream from last night, you're going to see I got 5 globals. Like, that was nuts. But even with 5 globals, let me double check. I'm not saying I did poorly last night. I did well. Pare down on my ever-growing. There it is. I was only up 52 PED with 5 globals. Now, that doesn't count the fact that I cycle all my ammo. So that's 52 PED raw profit, or net profit. And that's not for the year, that's for that night. Because I'm still down 1465, which is better than where I was last year. Much better than where I was last year. I'm getting there. We're figuring this shit out. And I think that I'm only this low. I'm this low. I'm not lower because I started my year on Monria. And the loot tables on Monria are much better than Calypso. And I think Calypso's actually gotten better. But I've also been a lot more pragmatic about what I'm hunting. And really paid attention to where my looter skills are. So yeah, I'm excited. There's good stuff coming. I have always loved the way that Monria does things. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with Toulan. I have the feeling that once my time on Cyrene is over, you're going to be seeing a whole lot more of those 2 planets, guys. And if they're going to institute something where I can acquire an apartment on Toulan, I'm going for it. Toulan is gorgeous. Especially if I can get one in the snowy regions. And everyone's probably going, why would you want one in the snowy regions? Hey, I like snowy regions, okay? I live in a snowy region. I've always lived in a snowy region. And yeah, you know what? At the end of winter, I'm bitching about the snow as much as anyone. But I can't not live in a place that gets snow. I don't know. I could probably deal with Texas. But I lived in Vermont, I've lived in New Hampshire, I've lived in Montana, and I've lived in North Dakota. For those of you who do not know much about the United States, they're all bordering on Canada. All of them get polar air, all of us get snow. in varying amounts, and where there isn't snow, it's usually cold. And we're not talking like, you know, 0 degrees Celsius, cold. We're talking negative 40 degrees Celsius cold, okay? So, and I've lived here, so I couldn't, I'm just so used to it, I'm not sure I could live in the warmer climes for a long period. Like, I could never live in Arizona. Visit. I could probably do a Wasteland weekend. Because, you know, well, because it's Wasteland weekend. But, nope. I like my snow. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time, so make sure you subscribe. Also, please consider going to patreon.com/JulianMcBain if you want to support my work. If you do, you will get a copy of The Modern Entropian and Personal Finance for Gamers. Big shout out to my patrons, Red Kryptonite, Jason Lambertson, and Game Citizen. Thank you so much for your support. Guys, it's been great. We will see you in the next one.